In this tutorial, I'll show you how to customize the dashboard the way you need. This is probably one of the easiest and most fun things to do in LodgingMetrics. Let's go over a couple concepts first. The dashboard can be configured to display your data as a number, in a chart, or in a table, using metric values, calculations, or a combination of both. We call these widgets, and you can create as many as you like. Number widgets display a single value as a number, and they include green up or red down arrows to show the percentage of increase or decrease over the prior time period selected. Chart widgets display the changes in data over time using a line graph, and table widgets display multiple values in a table format. You can view your data for all properties if you have more than one property enrolled, a specific property, or even drill down to the individual employee level. You can quickly adjust the time period you're viewing by clicking on the day, week, month, quarter, or year buttons, or by clicking on the date selector. In most cases, the metric and calculation values being displayed on the dashboard are summed for the time period selected. For example, if you have a widget displaying your number of rooms sold metric, clicking on the day button will display the number of rooms sold for that day only. Clicking on the month button will instantly sum the rooms sold value for each day of the month selected. Similarly, if you have multiple properties and the dashboard is set to display all properties, the rooms sold widget will display the sum of rooms sold across all properties. The exception to summing values on the dashboard is averaging them, and you can do this by defining widgets using the average metric option. Average metrics can be useful for metrics like ADR, RevPAR, or occupancy because you may want to see the average value regardless of the time period or whether viewing it at the all properties level. To begin customizing your dashboard, click on the Account drop-down link and choose Edit Dashboard. From here, you'll see two buttons show up, New and Done. There is also an option to Reset Dashboard if you want to go back to the default layout. Let's create a few widgets, beginning with a number widget displaying the total number of rooms sold. Click on New and select Number. Notice the three tabs across the top. For widget name, let's type Rooms Sold. Now, click on the Data to Display tab. Here, the left pull-down menu allows you to select a metric, an average metric, or a calculation. Based on that selection, the right pull-down menu will dynamically display the predefined metrics or calculations. Note that for metrics and average metrics, the group names are displayed in bold, and the corresponding metrics within each group are indented below them. Let's set the data to display type to metric, and select the rooms sold metric from our daily numbers metric group. The third tab, Filter, allows you to control whether this widget will display data for everything, certain properties, or certain employees. Let's set Show Data For to Everything and click Add Widget to save it. Now, let's create a number widget for ADR. Click on New and select Number. For widget name, type ADR. Click on the Data to Display tab. This time, let's set the type to Average Metric, then select ADR from the Daily Numbers metric group. The Filter tab is set to show data for everything by default, so just click Add Widget to save it. Now, let's create a chart widget to display our total revenue in a line graph. This works just like adding a number widget. Click on New and select Chart. For widget name, type Total Revenue. Click on the Data to Display tab. Here, set the type to metric because we want the amount to be summed for the date and property range we select. Select the total revenue metric from the daily numbers metric group. We can leave the Filter tab set to Show Data For Everything, so just click Add Widget to save it. Finally, let's create a table widget to display our various revenue metrics in a table. The process is similar to creating number and chart widgets, only here you can display more data. Click on New and select Table. For widget name, type Revenue Sources. Click on the Data to Display tab. This tab looks a little different because you can select multiple values to display, but the concept is the same. The left column is where you name the data being displayed. The middle column pull-down menu is where you select a metric, an average metric, or a calculation, and based on that selection, the right column pull-down menu will dynamically display your predefined metrics or calculations. To add or delete rows, use the plus or minus buttons to the right of each row. In the first row, type Total Revenue. Set Type to Metric, and select the Total Revenue metric from the Daily Numbers metric group. In the second row, type Rooms Revenue. Set Type to Metric, and select the Rooms Revenue metric from the Daily Numbers metric group. In the third row, type Safe Revenue. Set Type to Metric, and select the Safe Rev metric from the Daily Numbers metric group. And in the fourth row, type Conference Room Rev. Set Type to Metric, and select the Conf Room Rev metric from the Daily Numbers metric group. We can leave the Filter tab set to show data for everything. When done, click Add Widget to save it. Now that you have a few widgets displayed on the dashboard, you can move them around. Place your mouse over the widget you want to move. Click and drag it to where you want it, then release the mouse button. To edit a widget, click on the blue gear icon in the top right of the widget, click Edit, make your changes, then click Save. To delete a widget, click on the blue gear icon and click Delete. When you're done editing the dashboard, click Done. Now, try clicking on the time period buttons, view different properties, and watch how your data changes instantly on the dashboard. In the next video, I'll show you how to create reports using any of the metrics you're already tracking.